So, my name is Salchihuahua, or just Salchi, and so this is the A0 course of Spanish, so I will be starting from zero, so phonetics and basically all that. If you have some background in Spanish, this first lesson may be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's nice to every once in a while start from nothing, basically. This will be a series of 3 lessons, just basic Spanish grammar, so it revolves mostly around the grammar. That's what I like to do. I like to see what makes a language tick, but I know that's not for everyone, so just a little heads up. Like I said, so in this lecture, right, this very first one, we'll go over the alphabet, we'll do pronunciation, we'll do cardinal numbers, and then just greetings and goodbye. Just get used to at least the sounds of the language. More actual grammar will be coming in the next 2 lectures. In this one, so there'll be orange and blue slides here. So ideally, presentation should serve as an outline for you guys, so you can look back at it and reference it whenever you need it. Slides in blue, I'm generally going to either skip them or they're just extra information for later, or I'll go over them very quickly, but the orange ones will be the ones we focus on in the lecture. About Spanish, I don't know, what are your guys' motives for learning Spanish? I'm always curious to see why people want to learn Spanish. I always like to give a little background, I guess, on the language that you're learning. So, Spanish is a Romance language, so it's descended from Latin, and it's spoken by about 500 million native speakers worldwide, so it's a very widespread language. Obviously, Spain is, is where it started, and then of course you have Central and Latin America, your other big hotspots for Spanish, as well as Equatorial Guinea. So it's really widespread, and you'll find a lot of use for it. Also, the Spanish-speaking diaspora around the world is also quite widespread. So the alphabet, el abecedario, el alfabeto. So Spanish has the same thing as the Latin alphabet, except one extra character. We can just run through the letters, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ. So this is the extra letter. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, or V, or there's a lot, or there's W, like this has a lot of different names depending on where you're from. W for me. X, Y, y Z. Y just means Greek I, so in case you're wondering why it's kind of an anomaly. So the new sounds for, I guess, English speakers, that's what I'm designing my lectures around, basically, right? E, I, so E and I, right? I does not have this I sound, so it's I, E, I. The J is J. I'm not really so great with describing pronunciations, but I think later on in the channel, Mesa Española, somebody who's really good at that can probably explain how to make this sound for the J. But and then Ñ, kind of a ñ sound. And then 2 notes. One, K is normally only seen in loan words or words from other languages. Normally you wouldn't be writing K or using it too much in Spanish words. And if you have an old book, Che and Eye, so CH and LL, used to be part of the alphabet. They later took them out because they said they were digraphs. So just in case, you might see a larger Spanish alphabet. This is blue, but I'll go over it very quickly. So B and V are very similar phonetically, especially if you're spelling out a word, right? So there's a couple of, monikers to indicate which one is which. So B de burro, V de vaca. So it starts with B, it starts with B. These are important to keep in mind, especially when spelling. And then W has a couple of different ways of saying it, right? W, 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 depends where you're from, but all of these are valid. People understand you, whichever one you use. So there are also a couple of important digraphs in Spanish. You have CH and LL, right? So CH, ch, chocolate, chino, chuleta, chorizo. L, for example, I believe Argentina, it's more of a sh sound. Chorar, llamar. Again, people understand you whichever one you use. I would just say learn it however the person is teaching you, right? If somebody's teaching you sh, then just stick with that. If somebody's teaching you more of a y sound, go with that. Again, people will understand you wherever they're from. The RR is a rolling R sound from the tip of your tongue on your palate. It's like a sound. This is one that's also very difficult for people. This just comes with practice and just spending time really practicing rolling your R's. So don't worry about it if you can't get it at the first goes, alright? So correr, perro, guerrero, serrano. Again, later on in the channel, you can ask. There's definitely resources out there to help you learn how to roll your R's. This GU, but especially GU with a vowel after that, is a bit weird. So you wouldn't say, for example, this is guitarra. You wouldn't say guitarra. You don't pronounce this U. So this is, if you can't do it, people will understand you. It's not as big of an issue if you can't pull it off. So for example, for this one, guitarra, right? So you have this GU with a vowel afterwards. you don't pronounce this U in the middle. So guitarra. There is an exception to this, but that comes later. And in QU, que, queso, quesadilla, quinto, quemar. So this makes like your kind of K sound. Some people, for example, when they write, especially when they're texting, right? So they say instead of que, they will write like this, que, because it's technically the same sound. This looks a bit ridiculous, right? But obviously, vowels come in conjunction with other consonants. So this is always like a practice that they do for beginner Spanish and for kids, right? So we would go through, right? Ma, me, mi, mo, mu, pa, pe, pi, po, pu, ra, re, ri, ro, ru, sa, se, si, so, su, la, le, li, lo, lu, and so on. It's just a way to get used to syllables and combinations of letters. So it's some vocabulary. Mostly this is just so basic vocabulary and then also just practicing pronunciation. Yeah. So accents, right? This is where you need to go and put the emphasis, right? If we'll go over accents in the next lecture, but it indicates a different pattern of stress than what would normally be in a word. Mama, mom, papa, father, right? So these emphasis on the last A in this case. Because if you say, for example, papa, in vez de papa, then your papa is a pope. And your papa, your dad. So you should just keep in mind accents. We'll go over them later, but for now, just keep in mind this is where you need to put emphasis on the vowels. Okay, hermano, hermana. So in this case, the H is practically silent. Libro, casa, amigo, amiga, familia, more, ser, estar, estudiar, leer, hacer deporte, correr, tener, hablar. This is just like a vocabulary list. Accents, like I said, this will be coming for later, right? You're basically, this is where you would normally put stress on the accent. Otherwise, accents will indicate a different pattern of stress that you should follow. And in here, this is an importance note. So basically what I was talking about, el papá, el papa, la papa, right? It is important at times. All right, cardinal numbers. We'll just run through some of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then for 11 through 20, right, they have different set of numbers, right? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then here you have your 16, so 10 and 6, right? 17, 18, 19, and 20. For the 20s, you make this as one word with an I. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. From 30 until 99, you split it into two words, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, so on. So 40, 41, 51, 61, and then 100, 100, 200, 300, same convention, right? 1000, 10,000, millón. As you keep writing and all these things, you will slowly learn how to write more and more of these higher numbers. But for now, I think even just having that. So all of these above 30 are written as two words. The exception here is the 20s. The 20s are written as one word. 30 through 90 are written as two. Greetings and farewells. I just have a couple. These are pretty universal. Hola, hello, buenos días, buenas tardes, morning, good afternoon. And then just hey works. And then for your goodbyes, adios, goodbye. Ciao is another common one. Goodbye also. Hasta luego, until later. Hasta mañana is till tomorrow, or you could also use that as like a good night thing. All right, so this is a bit of a example conversation, something that maybe realistically somebody would do, right? Buenos días, me llamo Salchi. Or you could say, mi nombre es Salchi. Here you have the translations on the side. Un gusto conocerte. So, pleasure meeting you. Thank you. Likewise, igualmente. ¿Cuántos años tienes? How old are you? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Just keep in mind, this is not a literal translation. You'll find this a lot. This would literally mean how many years do you have? Also, side note, this ñ and años, very important. Do not miss that at all. Tengo 23 años. ¿Tú cuántos años tienes? Those who know, who know. Yeah, años is años. If you say tengo 23 años, you have 23 anuses. Let me continue, right? Tengo 26 años. ¿Qué te gusta hacer en tu tiempo libre? What do you like to do in your free time? So we'll go over the conjugation of gustar and how to use it. Me gusta, so cocinar y leer. I like to cook and to read. So yeah, you have this me if you're talking about yourself, right? Me gusta. And then verb, just leave the verb like this in its infinitive form. ¿Tú qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? Me gusta hacer ejercicio y también me gusta cocinar. I like to do exercise and I also like to cook. And of course, es que guay, cool, bacán, chévere. These are all different words for say how cool. Yeah, so we'll learn conjugation later. For today's assignment, just leave it like this, like in your own self-introduction. I'd say introduce yourself in the table. so we can get to know you. You can follow this template. Me llamo, your name, tengo, however many years. Me gusta. So in this case, we just leave it at that, right? Me gusta. And then choose one of these verbs or choose another verb that you really like. If something you like to do. Me gusta nadar. I like to swim. Me gusta leer. Me gusta whatever. In this case, right? So we want to just say me gusta. So just write this, me gusta, and then just choose a verb like it is in the list. The phrase is already conjugated. When you add the verb here, just add it like it is. Like saying in English, I like to draw. I like, you only conjugate the like. You don't actually conjugate the other part of it. So, hasta la próxima. We'll have the next lecture on Sunday, same time. Wherever that is for you guys. Yeah, the next lesson will be a bit more solid, more concrete on like how to conjugate and verbs and articles and all that stuff. So thank you for attending. So muchas gracias por asistir. Okay, and gracias. And nos vemos la próxima semana.